Hello, this is my monocular, like a binocular, but for just one eye. I use it when I am bird watching. I was out yesterday in the fields and in the woods watching birds. But I realise if I turn it around and look through the wrong end, I get an image which is just as clear and just as bright, but very, very distant. And it seems that I couldn't possibly grasp things which really are well within my reach. And I wonder if normality feels a little bit like that, a little bit like looking through the wrong end of a pair of binoculars, looking down a telescope the wrong way. Everything is still bright and clear, but very, very distant. There's a story in the Bible that Jesus told about someone who was a long way from comfort and home and normality. In fact, he'd put himself there through his wrong choices. But for most of us, when we find ourselves in an uncomfortable place, we can imagine all sorts of obstacles between us and being able to live a normal life again. We know the story as the story of the prodigal son, and you'll find it in Luke's Gospel, chapter 15. Now, this chap was at the end of his tether. He had no more food left. In fact, he was eating things which he knew he shouldn't be eating. It was against his faith, his religion. And he longed for normality again. And eventually, being at the very end of his tether, he decided that he would go home and beg to be taken on as a servant, no longer a son in his father's house. So he sets off for home, for normality, for comfort. And we read something extraordinary in this because the father has clearly been looking out for him. He's been searching the hills and the roads because it says, when he was still a long way off, his father saw him, and his father had compassion on him. And he ran, something really undignified for a grown-up person to do. He ran to his son, and he threw his arms around him, and he kissed him. And he drew him back into his household, into the comfort and the love and the normality that he needed. I don't know how you feel at the moment, but I feel sometimes as if I'm looking at the world through the wrong end of a telescope. Normality and comfort, being able to hug those that I love, feels a long way off. But I am comforted by knowing that my Heavenly Father, because this parable is a picture of the Heavenly Father, my Heavenly Father is looking out for me. He's searching the hills and the roads, and he's waiting for me to turn to him, and he will run to me. Something really undignified, something that I couldn't expect of my Heavenly Father. He is moving towards me with his arms stretched wide to hug me, something that I need so much at the moment, physical touch and comfort. He's going to run and hug me and bring back the comfort and the normality and the safety that I need. I don't know how you are feeling at the moment, but be comforted. Your Heavenly Father is looking out for you. In fact, he's never stopped. His arms are stretched wide, and he just wants to hug you and bring you back into his love. Stay safe.